Hello Internet. So today we're going to talk about my CR-01 Blackfoot. We can get into more of how we're getting this shell to fit on here. We're using original body holes. Yeah, it's super plug and play. When we come back, we'll clean it up, prime it, sand it, paint it. This body had been previously painted. If you look real close, it was stripped with DOT4 brake fluid. And it got most of the paint off. But just checking it out, there's a little bit of damage here and there. Mostly these drip rails. I'm not going to try and fix this, where the drip rail is getting shaved off. So instead, the new number 11 blade we'll see if we can't shave that down. You can see just the smallest little lip left over. I'd rather go with that a bit slower. So this is, what is it, 180? 180 grit sandpaper. Little sanding block. And we're just going after the high spot. I noticed as I'm doing this that there's no mold line for the top of the door, like the door opening. So once this is smooth, we'll come back and rescribe that just because. So I didn't anticipate this problem. I figured for sure there might be like a panel line molded underneath that drip rail that we took off. So I'm just going to use the line where the drip rail was, right at the top of this to the top of this. And that looks pretty good. So we're going to make a whole bunch of passes. And not do that. Alright, so I think we got her. The second side went a lot easier than the first. Go figure. Learning curves. It's not laser straight, but it'll do. 2 coats of primer later, and any little scratches we put in, I can't feel them anymore, which means we won't be able to see them through the paint. Even this guy, see that little, those little lines right there? Those gray curly cues? That's just where the scratch was deep, a little bit of primer, took care of it. This was painted yesterday in a heated garage. And I'm not going to waste stickers on that. So now, instead, we're just going to strip it, and we'll do the brake fluid thing. So now we're at 3 hours. final call. It works. You have to work at it, but that also means it's not so caustic, I guess, that'll damage the plastic underneath. So here's the result. After a quick scrub in hot water, wiping off the all the loose stuff, this side's mostly clean. The bed is not, because there's all those nooks and crannies. The flat sides of the body are still pretty good. So we're going to hit the rest of this with oven cleaner. That uncured paint is pretty messy. Alright, we're coated. This is our stuff. Read the directions. If you get it on your hands, it will burn. I want to say the active ingredient is lye. So, anyway, we'll see what that does. Roll bars that I wanted to paint for like the clod, it worked super good. It just like lifted all the chrome in like, I don't know, 20 minutes. Let's try the bed. We haven't attacked that with anything too much. There you go. Alright, so the bed's clean. That whole... Anyway, something failed. And now... we have stripped this shell again. Now for the second time. This time we're going to use all lacquer-based stuff to make sure there's no reaction. TS14 black. I'm going to prime, sand out any little gremlins that show themselves, and get this done. Yeah, really need to get this done. So, off we go to prime. Hooray. So here we are. After 2 tries, we've got some pretty good looking paint on this thing. Still left to do. Decals, tailgate. So what I'm doing is I'm trimming right on the edge of the decal, so I don't have that clear, this clear film around the openings. Okay. Some Windex. I'm going to use the edge of my X-Acto to hold the sticker, so I'm not getting any fingerprint oils on it. I'll spray that too. So I know stickers are kind of like scary, especially these big ones. But when you use the Windex or something, you get a little more time to get it where you want it. big one we have left is the hood. This guy. So like always, and we can see where it wants to go, lined up with the back edge of the hood, and centered otherwise. 10 millimeters. The back is straight. Let the rest of the Windex evaporate. I've done is designed some body mounts. I'm using the original bolt holes. I'm sorry. Using the original body holes on the shell. The wheels are centered in the wheel wells. The wheelbase is a little bit short, but I think it works pretty well. So here are the parts. I printed these at home. This is the front mount. I haven't removed any of the support material yet. So, these bigger pegs fit in the normal body post locations on the CR-01. And this one post is it's in the right spot. It installs just like so. No sweat. The rear body mount I made in 2 parts for ease of printing. None of these have been trimmed yet. There's 2 holes here that are shrouded for they're filled up with support material right now, but these are sized for a 3mm machine screw. I think there's probably about 10 millimeters of depth in this part. Part 2, we'll call it. And part 1 accepts a countersunk screw, machine screw. That's just at the top of the truss. I'm not going to clean these out right now. These could use a little sanding and a little better trim. The body holes themselves, as printed, are snug fit. They might require a little bit of sanding so you don't have to drill into your body. But this is how we're mounted. We're using this hole, and this hole, and this hole. We didn't have to move anything on the chassis. You can see the countersunk screws there. These are a real early version, and the machine screw, well, these are old, so they can come out, but I found that, like say in a rollover, the worst thing that would happen, instead of breaking apart or breaking one of these tubes, the threading would just pull out of the part 2. But this is what it looks like together. Like I said, I haven't had any trouble with these breaking, the front mounts. Again, you might need light sand. I don't use body pins underneath, so I don't use any body pins on the front mounts. I found them not to be necessary. And what else? Oh, so at this lowest setting. So at the lowest setting, the truck will clear even with the Bigfoot 2.2 tires. Will clear the body. And that's at full articulation. I mean, it just clears, but if you want to, you have maybe 5 millimeters front and rear. And then you could raise the body with maybe some O-rings on the posts before you drill your through hole for the body pins. But there you go. It's been a fun project.